You've seen video after video, bounce houses blown away from backyards to beaches. This young girl, one of 3 children inside when weather picked up her bounce house in Fort Lauderdale and sent it flying like a kite.
I was thinking that I was about to die. No more bounce house.
Whether you rent one or buy one, you could be setting the stage for serious injury. So when is a bounce house safe, and when is it time to shut the party down?
Joy's going to show us what happened when the News 4 Jax team put common Florida wind gusts and these inflatables to the test.
2 airboats, 6 cameras, 1 chance to show you the dangers when child's play isn't taken seriously. When this happens, it makes headlines. The latest mishap was about 2 months ago when wind lifted a bounce house into the air in Mexico, sending it over a fence and into a parking lot. 1 child was hospitalized and at least 3 others hurt.
Every good company goes over all the rules with you because the last thing we want is a child to get hurt.
Gus Gustafson has owned the bounce house rental store Spacewalk of Jacksonville for 20 years. He met me outside the Channel 4 studios with his largest inflatable for rent that customers can pick up and blow up at home on their own. I also brought one I borrowed from a coworker. These smaller bounce houses, many parents buy for their preschoolers at their local warehouse stores or online. Gustafson says no matter the size, once you get it home, securing the stakes in the ground is key.
Looks like I need a hammer to hit that the rest of the way in. Thank you.
Don't hit your fingers.
Hammering them in at a 45-degree angle.
So all the way down to the ground?
All the way down, so that's good right there.
Gustafson says one of the biggest mistakes made is trying to set up an inflatable in the shade.
They'll set it under the tree for shade. When they go blow it up, it's inside the bushes. So, or it's also a lightning attractor. If it's lightning out, the lightning will hit the tree and could possibly hit the bounce unit.
Once the kids come over, have someone keep constant watch, especially of the number and sizes of the kids going inside. You'll find those guidelines and more posted right on the bounce house. Gustafson says setting up the bounce house on the grass with stakes is much safer than using sandbags to hold it down on rocky surfaces, mulch, or sand, especially with our often unpredictable Florida weather. When wind gusts reach 20 to 25 miles per hour, Gustafson says it's time to shut the fun down. We tested that recommendation using 2 airboats from the men who run Perry McCall Construction Incorporated.
So we have our bounce house set up, and as you heard, you're not supposed to operate these when there are wind gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour. So we're going to see what happens when a wind gust like that comes along. We've got our airboats in place here, and I have got a wind gauge which will measure just how fast the wind is blowing once we turn that on. Let me see what the maximum winds were. Holy cow. Maximum wind, 23 miles per hour.
And take a look. We put a camera inside to see from a child's perspective, too.
One of these plastic stakes broke off. Half of it was still in the ground. The wind was just too much, and it just took it off like a sail.
All right, this obviously the bigger bounce house. We're going to test it to see what a wind gust will do to it. 20, 25 miles an hour is what we're trying to get to at least, all right? Here we go.
So we wouldn't damage Gustafson's bounce house, we stopped the airboat fans when we saw the large inflatable starting to lift off the ground. After all, he says these cost between $3,000 and $4,000 each. And here's what it looked like from our camera inside.
Let's see what that gust was. We had a gust of 27 miles per hour, and you saw the bounce house almost take off, but it didn't. But still, a gust like that, they come much stronger than that here in Jacksonville when our storms roll through.
We're glad you didn't blow away.
I know. I felt like I was going to, and it's amazing. When they're not blown up, they are so heavy. Even that little tiny bounce house to carry, but as soon as you blow it up, like a sail.
And you had hammered that thing in really well, right?
Yeah.
And you know, totally secure.
23 miles per hour is like a breezy day. We were just saying here in Jacksonville, it's no big deal at all.
How many parties have your children been to where they had one of these?
Oh, yeah. Countless.
Several, and I can tell you, they get bumps and bruises every time they're on them.
Well, Jack and Adele have been too.
I worry about that just being inside with all the kids in there. You got to keep your eye on everybody in there.
And that's the key. Yeah. That's what Gustafson told us, as well as one of our local personal injury attorneys. So, Tom, Mary, besides safety, parents also need to worry about liability. Who could be at fault here? So I sat down with local personal injury attorney Chris Shakib with the Terrell Hogan law firm. He's conducted extensive research on inflatables, and he's represented clients who have been hurt while using one. Well, for rentals, he tells me, once you've researched a company to use, ask if it has liability insurance, request a copy, and then call the insurance company to verify that policy is even still active. And if you're buying an inflatable online or from a store, you want to make sure you read the manual that comes with it. I know it's kind of tedious and it can be kind of long, but you don't want to just read the printed label on the actual bounce house. The manual has details and specifics on how to properly use it and what you're responsible for. Now, if you skip any of those steps and something happens, you could be liable. Right now on news4jax.com, you can watch my interview with attorney Chris Shakib, which includes all the questions you need to ask to protect yourself. He also explains when you'd be able to sue a rental company, even if you signed a waiver. We've also posted both of our bounce house tests there. You can see step by step what happens when a gust of wind comes along. You'll find it all right now on news4jax.com inside our blown away story. It's on the homepage.